As the Minnesota Vikings are unofficially hiring Kevin O'Connell as their new head coach, the biggest question is, what is he going to bring to the organization? Now, we can speculate all you want about culture, about him being and not having a fear-driven organization, relating with Kirk Cousins, etc. But there will be one major change that will very likely be implemented with the Minnesota Vikings in 2022, and it's going to be on offense. Given O'Connell's background in the game, former NFL quarterback, working with Sean McVay for the last couple of years, and I think the Vikings are going to open things up on offense, and that should be very exciting for Vikings fans. So the number one thing, biggest change he's going to bring is 11 personnel. Now, 11 personnel for the verbiage. So 11 personnel, when you're counting offensive personnel, and the first number is number of running backs on the field. The second digit, is number of tight ends on the field. And the remainder of eligible receivers, so 5, is how many wide receivers you have on the field. So 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. If you had 21 personnel, so it'd be 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. So that's how that works. Basically, there's been a trend as of late that teams that run 11 personnel, they put up the points, they win the games, and guess what? So the top 2 teams in terms of 11 personnel usage this season, look, they're in the Super Bowl. Rams, 85%. Of course, that's Kevin O'Connell. They're first in the league by far. Bengals, number 2, with Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Tyler Boyd getting after it with jumping Joe Burrow, 77%. Bills, 5th at 71%. Chiefs are actually kind of down, 67%, tied for 7th in the league. Vikings, 47%, 28th in the league. And that's actually up. That's actually up from last year. Gary Kubiak, 2020, 29% with 11 personnel, dead last in the league by far. Now, the advantages of this, 11 personnel, basically we're saying, hey, our third wide receiver, our third pass catcher is better than your third corner, your third or your fifth defender in the secondary. And spread the field and giving your playmakers space, getting them matchups, it makes a lot of sense. Also, since your formation is going to be static, there's going to be work in the slot, there's going to be bunches, there's going to be trips. So you can move your dynamic wide receivers around as opposed to just having them at the X or having them at the Z. So it's tougher for the defense to peg down where they're going to be. And now, what does this all mean? For the Vikings and the current wide receiver situation, of course, you have Justin freaking Jefferson, you have Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne really stepped up nicely in year 2. I would like to see him as a larger factor in the offense. And then it's sort of wild card. So ISM, 5th round pick out of Iowa last year, would love to see more from him. When he did get on the field towards the end of the season, he made a couple of nice plays. He's got speed for days, and he could take the top off the defense. I think that we're just scratching the top we're just scratching the surface of ISM's lottery ticket. And then BC Johnson, we're sort of out of sight, out of mind this year towards ACL in camp. But I mean, last year, he started over Jefferson, the first 2 games. And I think 3 years ago, BC Johnson was really solid as a rookie. We'll see what he can do in year 4. Could he be a competent wide receiver 4? Absolutely. Absolutely could. Diamond Dan Chisena, speaking of speed, straight line speed, he was just a special teamer at Penn State, the former track star. Could you just put him on the field as a tall-bodied, outside-the-numbers receiver at the X and just go? Maybe. And then Blake Prohl, last year, the UDFA out of East Carolina, had a really interesting training camp, and then he unfortunately tore his ACL as well. So he's a little bit of a wild card. So what does this mean for the Vikings? First off, I think that Kevin O'Connell, he's going to build around the quarterback, focus on what they do well. I think he's going to spread the field out with these playmakers, but it could be bad news for CJ Ham, although I don't think that Kevin O'Connell is going to be the type of coach that just has his scheme and then has his players and then, hey, players fit into the scheme as opposed to the other way around. I think that you have CJ Ham, one of the best, if not the best fullbacks in the league. It would make sense to use him, especially the way that Dalvin Cook has been running behind CJ Ham would make sense to use the fullback. But the usage that he's had like last year, nah. Where CJ Ham, third down target monster, I don't know if that happens again. Also, just because it's 11 personnel doesn't mean it's going to be pass. You can run out 11 personnel. Look at the Rams. You look at the Rams with Akers. Look at the Bengals with Joe Mixon. The Bills don't run the ball. The Chiefs with McKinnon and whatnot. So, yeah, you can run out of 11 personnel because, especially if your wide receivers are good blockers, which the wide receivers are, because you're subbing in, the defense is subbing in a cornerback for a linebacker. So you're going to be running downhill into smaller personnel. You like that. You do like that. And also, 11 personnel leads credence to a lot of outside zone concepts, which the Rams use heavily and effectively. So that, of course, that's not going to change too many things in the Vikings run game with Delvin and the current offensive line. And also, this could mean that the Vikings draft a wide receiver sooner than expected. I mean, I'll put it on the table right now. I would not be shocked if the Vikings draft a wide receiver day 1, day 2. So rounds 1 through 3. And if you look at this year's wide receiver class, it's damn good, man. It's damn good. Where for me, I feel like there is a big 6. You got Jameson, you got Olave, you got Garrett Wilson, the 2 Ohio State guys. Well, 3 if you count Jameson, former Buckeye. You got Treylon Burks for me is wide receiver 1 in this class. You got Drake London, who's an absolute stud power forward. And you got Jan Dotson, who's just... I don't know what it is about Penn State and wide receivers, man, but they've been doing the damn thing as of late. I mean, John Mechie's in here, Pickens, David Bell, Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, there are a ton of very, very skilled wide receivers. And with the Vikings, so KJ had a really nice season. Is he ready to be the true blue wide receiver too? I don't know. I love me some Adam Thielen forever, but he is starting to age out a little bit. Is he still that wide receiver 2 to Jefferson's 1, or is he going to recede more into a wide receiver 3 role? I don't know. Can ISM really step up? What about BC? We know that Jefferson is going to be that alpha dog wide receiver 1, but he needs some help around him. So, I mean, if the right guy is there at 12, let's say the Vikings don't like any of the quarterbacks are on board. Maybe they don't like any of the defenders there. I mean, could they go wide receiver at 12? Could they go with Treylon Burks if he's on board? Could they go with Olave? I mean, it would be... Drake London would be a lot of fun too, man. Oh, Kirky needs a tall receiver. Yeah, that's why we need Drake, who's just... Mike Williams 2.0. The Mike Williams, Mike Evans comparisons for Drake London, USC, are out there, but yeah. So I'm pretty excited, man, for like... the last couple, actually pretty much the duration of the Zimmer regime, we've been begging for them to open up and run, pass, run, pass, pass, punt, right? And I understand early on Zimmer had Adrian Peterson and Dalvin Cook is getting the rock. That makes a lot of sense. And Zimmer wanted to play this conservative ball control style, but you got to open things up. You look at the way that the league is going. It's young, offensive minded, and you're throwing the ball. Rams, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, etc. Open things up. So get yourself another stud wide receiver. Get yourself another stud wide receiver. Get yourself another stud wide receiver and have a track meet. Because, hey, if you can't hold up in a shootout, you're not going to hang around. And that's been the problem with the Vikings, where even when Kirk's been on his game, if this team ever got down by double digits, you're not really feeling it. You're not. So let's put up points. Like, hell, if you win 42-40, it's the same as if you win 12-10. It's weird. It's weird, right? So put up some damn points. We can hang and bang with anyone in the league. Let's go, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. The biggest change that Kevin O'Connell will bring to the Vikings immediately. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.